What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Cody, and it's a little bit of a weird day. I'm super excited to be back to film a whole bunch of tutorials for you guys. Back from LA, and I just want to stockpile a bunch before I go back, so I have a whole bunch of content for you guys. But as a lot of you may know, yesterday Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others had passed away in a helicopter accident over in Calabasas. And a lot of you may not know, but sports was my entire life growing up. Mainly basketball and football. Basketball was my first love, going throughout high school, and that Mamba mentality is something that I looked up to all throughout my training and playing sports. That stuff transcends. It doesn't have to be basketball. You can use that for every aspect of life. I know I use it for music. I'm always trying to outwork everybody. Yeah, so I just wanted to pay my respects to that. But yeah, today we're going to be making a hi-hat bounce tutorial. I'm going to show you guys how to get really good bounce with your hi-hats and how to be unique with it as well. So yeah, let's get into the video. Alright guys, let's let's jump into it. I got a melody going here. I just used MIDIs from today's video sponsor, which is Canary's Jewels Volume 2 MIDI Kit Collection. It is such a dope kit. I actually had bought this kit before they contacted me to do a sponsored video for it. It's got 475 MIDIs, all royalty free, and you can come up with some really crazy stuff. It's already got cool placements already, like trippy stuff. You can see here. It's got stuff like that. I'll have a link for this in the description below, but this is how the melody sounds. So something just super chill. It's got a really cool vibe going here, and then all I did with that was just add some halftime and then to both of them and just EQ'd it. It just has some very simple EQ going on, so it leaves room for the 808s and stuff. I got a really simple hi-hat or a clap pattern going, and yeah, let's get started. For this hi-hat stuff, a lot of it really just lends itself to being in a range. If you want the hi-hats to be a focal point, like range of like 90 to 130 BPM, you can come up with some really cool hi-hat patterns that is like kind of the main focus of the track. Think of like Pyrex and some of those guys, Jetson and stuff like that. If you go too high with the BPM, everything kind of sounds too crazy when you start doing a bunch of rolls and stuff. So yeah, let's get something started here. Start out with simple two-step hi-hat pattern, and then first thing you could do really is just come here and change the shift a little bit. Wonder Girl's done this for a long time, for a decent majority of her tracks, and it just offsets the hi-hats to the right a little bit instead of doing it manually. You know, something like this, it does it automatically. And that alone already starts giving it a little bit of a bounce. I'm going to bounce these down a note or two. Yeah. Just for my sake, I'm going to extend all these by doing Control L and then deleting that last note there, just so it's organized for me to see. And actually what I'm going to do is, first thing is just add a little bit more bounce just by changing the velocities of every other note. Okay, actually what I want to do really quick just to show you is just come up with a really simple 808 pattern, 808 clap pattern, and just show you kind of how that sounds together. I'm going to copy over the melody here to this 808. Let's see how it sounds. It's actually kind of hard, but it's actually hard as fuck, but I'm going to bring all this up. Just use a simple pattern for the purpose of this tutorial. Alt Q to just quantize everything, make sure it's on time. Let's go to 2. Copy all that over. I'm going to delete all this actually. Just lengthen everything. I'm going to lengthen all of it. Okay. So that's simple, and it's actually still got bounce to it just because of those couple things we did. But what you really want to do if you want to just make it more complex is just start learning a bunch of your shortcuts just for increased workflow. Stuff like Alt-U, if you highlight a note or if you highlight a bunch, you could chop them up into different chops here, and then use the time to change it. So I'm gonna use this, and then I'm gonna hold right click down on my mouse and then just drag it down. I'm actually gonna move all these down one. Yeah. Let's delete that note. And actually a really good trick is to use thirds a lot. Use third step, three step a lot. It gives a really cool bounce, and I'll show you that right now. We'll go like this, and then bring these ones down as well. And copy this over here, holding Shift, B. I'm actually going to turn these down a little bit. Back over here. See, fourths don't sound good that much when you're using like half step and you try to roll it like that. It just doesn't have a doesn't have like that kind of bounce, like swag feel to it. So you want to kind of just try to make it swaggy here. Then you copy this over. It's usually what I do, and then just add a little bit of variation on this side over here as well. Maybe change some of these, or just do a completely different roll pattern. I'm gonna bring these over like this, and then each one I'm gonna lower it. It'll give it like a delay effect. Spread them out a little bit farther. And then if you come here and you highlight them all and you hold Alt, you can drag them out a little bit farther if you don't like the way that they sounded. Bring these back a little bit so it sounds more cohesive together. Like stuff like this, when you delete notes or kind of have stops here and there, it just lends itself to have a cooler bounce. Another thing you could do is just straight up take it into different notes. You're gonna want to make these a little bit louder since there's no they're not layered at all, but layering your hi-hats is a really good thing to do. Use the paint tool a lot too is a really good trick. Using the paint tool and holding Shift just makes it really easy to just do different things and try different sounds and experiment. Really about just having kind of having like an edge to it, having its own little swag to each sound. You can really just create a bunch of patterns honestly out of just the same pattern by using that like same template for each one, and then just kind of switching it up here and there. Bring these up. something else you could do. Just start laying them all down. Have them all down here, and come true, and just get a really dope two-step hi-hat pattern down, and then build off that. So, you know. So that already has a kind of a cool bounce, and then you just take it a step further by starting to change different notes or add in rolls to different sections that accent that pattern itself. So. Bring these down even more. Chop that one. If you hold shift as you drag, like I said before, you could just create patterns like that. So you get really cool bounces going, and this is just with 3 sounds on its own. You add a whole bunch of other sounds, and it's just gonna sound really full. It's gonna sound hard. Just start adding in a whole bunch of different patterns. And then, yeah, honestly, it's a lot of just of experimentation. You want to learn your shortcuts for sure. It'll just speed up your workflow a lot. And then, ain't nothing wrong with using midis, especially hi-hat midis. Nobody's gonna ask for royalties for that shit. But yeah, if you want to make your own, thirds is kind of the sauce. Change of velocities is kind of the sauce too. Just being unique with it and trying new stuff. And there's never anything wrong with making your hi-hats kind of like having a day where you just come out and just make your hi-hats ahead of time. A whole bunch of midis, and then using those for later, or just getting midis, because you can always edit them. Here, I'll show you kind of like with mine. I'll just drag some in. Want them to have kind of their own rhythm, and then you can really just start chopping up your own shit if you want. Overthinking it is just not the way to go. Just really have fun with it. Just make a whole bunch of different stuff, and yeah, it's not much to it. Using different changing up certain things like in your melody and stuff, and changing the way they come in and out. Having a lot of hi-hat bounce also involves like adding stops when you're doing the track. Let's do it really quick here. Let's split this pattern, just separate everything. Stretch these out. Let's make a whole nother line here. And then I'm gonna render these out real quick so we could do this. Render that. I armed the recording there right here, and then I clicked Alt R. Bring that out, and then I'm just gonna pitch it up an octave, put it in its own roll here. Oops. Add some stops, add random stuff, add random cuts. Use other sounds in your track, like your kick or your clap, to kind of give you like a signal of when to stop a sound. So as you can see right here, it'll probably sound hard if you just cut the clap here and then, or you cut the hi-hats here and then bring it back in when the new 808 comes in here. And it just accentuates a little bit more, especially with vocals over it. It sounds really hard, especially when you do it at the end of something. And then I'll cut the hi-hats like right here. A lot of it has to do with like the arrangement, like I'm saying. A little bit more sauce actually is you could bring in the hi-hats into its own roll and start adding different things, something like halftime. And then turning down the mix a lot and then playing with these. You can use stuff like Looperator. Anything that you could just kind of turn the mix down a lot to and just have it kind of as ear candy bouncing back and forth. Make sure you pan your hi-hats and stuff. You come up with cool stuff. Maybe not that crazy. I'm gonna turn down this mix here. And then at the end, kind of like turning down the hi-hats. I've seen a lot of big pop producers kind of do that. They keep their hi-hats low, leave room for the vocals, and just kind of have that as ear candy throughout the track. And there you have it. Not much to it. If you guys did enjoy, please drop a like and subscribe. Follow me on IG at the Cxdy. And yeah, I got this MIDI kit. I'm still working on it. Let's get this thing to 1,000 likes, and I'll send a bunch of commenters this kit. Thank you guys. Peace out.